Hello people! Today I have with us a special kit. This is the Suyata Space Rengo Kantai Mutsu. And this is a battleship in space. And it is quite a lovely model kit. There is a lot to say about this thing. It was complicated and extremely I want to say upsetting putting this together, and the reason is not because it is a difficult kit to put together, but I wanted to make it in such a way that I can take it apart to paint it again. This is a traditional model kit, and that is not easy to do when you have parts that need to be cemented together. So I had much difficulty using little tiny dabs of cement to put these things together. Trying not to do things too excessively so that I can still remove them later on. That said, it did come out wonderfully. It is very sensitive to touch, so you won't see me moving things around too much. I will show you the features that can move, though, when I can. So the Mutsu was an actual battleship in World War II. It was sunk. Actually, it was a magazine explosion inside the ship. But it was a beautiful pagoda-style mast, just like you see here. And it was one of two dreadnought-style battleships that came out between the eras of World War I and World War II. This one is modeled loosely after it. It does have the same 4 dual-barreled deck guns and several of the other armament that the actual ship had, so it was heavily inspired by that Japanese battleship. This Mutsu, however, is alive and well and is quite a spectacular model kit. I wanted to start first with the instruction manual. I have sung the praises of Suyata before, and I have dogged them for some of the stuff that they have done in error before, such as the smaller 124 kits and the small 135 kits that they had that they have issues with. I still love those, but they're definitely something that needed improvement. So let me go ahead and show you. There is a write-up on this one. I'll probably get back to that. It's quite a lot there. But this is entirely in full color. So once the camera gets used to the bright light here, let me turn that down. There we go. You can see that this is all in full color, and it is in Japanese and English where applicable. So you'll see it in Japanese and then again in English underneath. So that goes a long way into telling you how much attention to detail they put on this thing. It's pretty cool. I really enjoy it. And then it is in full color all the way to the back, and includes a picture of another Suyata kit that I have put together, and that is the Beetle, who did not have a name at the time, but it says that this will be a new product. This was one of their early kits. And I have talked about Suyata before, saying that they are a newer company, and the model kits that they put out are amazing for being such a new company. I don't know who they have working with them. It's hard to find information about these guys, but they come out with some really incredibly detailed stuff, and I think a lot of it has to do with 3D modeling. Some of the parts on the inside of them where you could see where you would see like the ejectors for the mold ejectors, you can see those lines. They definitely put in a lot of work for the modeling on that side of things. I think it really shows on these kits how much attention to detail they put. So I have actually shown you guys some of the Space Rengo Kantai stuff before, at least the shipborne fighter bomber. That one is a lot smaller than this one. It is just a bigger scale than this one is, but you can see that they also came with those hexagonal pieces here. So it has a theme, you know. It's definitely a themed series. I wanted to complement a lot of the moving parts that this has Ships in this scale usually don't have moving parts. At least in my experience, usually you're just going to set one of these cannons here and then that's it. For an example, these rotate on their axes. These little guns actually rotate. Like I said, it's really sensitive right now because these aren't held together with cement. They just dab together with a tiny spot weld of that cement. So I don't want to do too much, but all of these little guns here will actually move. These two are in tandem. These two are in tandem. They'll rotate as well, but they both go together. These sections actually move. These huge propellant tanks can actually come off. Don't want to put too much pressure on them, but like this, so they're ejectable. They obviously need some work together. These ones I did cement weld together, but I'm going to de-seam them and paint them, so I thought it was worth the actual work to do that. These armor sections actually move forward. Let me see if I can do that without knocking anything over. Move forward and back. That is a risk that I am probably going to regret doing. Okay, we're going to leave that one alone. And it is covered in these little tiny pieces here. It is a really cool ship, in my opinion. This section here is somewhat of an escape pod. You can actually deploy the ship without that. I think it's a really cool looking piece. I want to make a copy of it, so I'm probably going to do that before too long. Now, the stand, you can see it's a little shaky, but again, it is meant to be glued into this base, cemented in. It's not supposed to be just sitting here like I have it, and if I lift it up, it's going to come right out of there, and I'll have trouble putting it back in. So I'm going to leave that alone for now. And again, these things move. See, I don't want to mess anything up, but they are actually articulated a bit, and you can... Okay, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Rotate them if everything was cemented in together properly. But like I said, I am going to paint this one, so this isn't something that I wanted to put too much effort into when it's just going to come apart. With that in mind, I also do have the Decal sheet that I wanted to show you guys. Suyata is really passionate about the decals, and you can see those hexagonal shapes there will actually cover up those ones that are on the ship. A lot of little tiny writing for such a ship, on a 1 to 700 scale ship. I'm guessing those words would actually be pretty huge, but it is quite a sheet, and I look forward to putting some of those on once it's completed. The other thing about this ship, and I think you saw it if you looked at the directions while I was turning the pages, is that it can go into either Battleship mode, which technically it's in right now, but in Battleship mode or in Battleship and Mecha mode, and that is this guy right here. And this incredible 1/700 scale little guy is... It's actually very simple, but I think it's quite a unique looking craft. I want to say it reminds me of the 5-Star Stories Mortarhead series of model kits. It has that long, lanky appearance. I don't think it would do much in a battle. I actually have no idea what the purpose is, but it does include those parts, so you might as well continue on making this one. I'm going to detail this one up quite a bit and see what I can do. To clean up those nasty nub marks that are on the front of the legs there. He is a really cool one, and I really love him. I love these things. They'll also go on the side of the ship here in Battleship mode. This guy rests on this bridge section there, and to that end, you get an additional set of parts, like, ooh, Christopher, what are you doing? Okay, put this guy back over here. you actually get an additional set of resting legs, arms, and a body section. So you can build these ones onto it. I think it's meant to be more of a permanent thing, displayed one way or the other. And I am happy to have this one separately. The ship looks great without that additional parts on it. But I think with the here, let me show you. The bridge section with that head on actually looks really cool. Where is a good picture? Here we go. Turn the slide off. So you see the head there, the legs on the side, the arms are actually bracket down and hold on to that black section here on the ship, and the arm covers go right over here. I think it's a good silhouette, but I really like the way it looks like this, and I like the idea of having the two separate units. Plus, it gives you a stand for it, so I'm not going to waste that. So as far as this ship goes, it was rather simple to build. There are some bits that were a little bit more complicated. The section inside here was a little bit difficult to put together at first. These little tiny guns actually killed me because I dropped one on the floor. And there are 24 of them. There are 24 of them on the ship, and missing one of them would really suck. I'm glad I found it, though. That is something that would have been really ugly if I lost it. I mean, it's not something you can't copy, but they are tiny, and I don't want to waste any of my silicone. So, you can see is leaning over a bit, and that has to do with how I mounted this on there. But it is quite a ship with quite a silhouette. I really love all the fine details that they have on this one. Someone was showing me on the Discord one of the 1/1000 scale ships from Bandai, and I would really like to pick one of those up. So that might be my next purchase on the ship, so I could see the detail differences. Those ones are made to be a little bit more solid than these ones, but this is such a cool little thing, and I really love the idea of articulation on a ship like this. It doesn't seem like a big deal compared to, say, like a Gundam or something like that. But the idea of a traditional model kit like this having some motion is a pretty cool one. So you guys are probably interested in what size it is. You can see with my hand here, it's pretty decently sized, but I will give you a quick comparison with a couple model kits. I will pull out the Gundam that I normally use. That is to show the normal scale, because people know how big a high grade is, I think. So there you go with that. So it is a decently sized ship, especially you consider lengthwise. And the Mecha, and you have to remember this is a 1/700 scale, so he is probably going to be a lot bigger than a Gundam in 1/144. But that is another comparison for size in terms of what he's going to look like on your shelf. So move him out of the way, and then we'll go ahead and put on my master grade. I'll show you this guy. This is in 1/100 scale. So you see he's kind of dwarfing the ship there, and obviously this guy's only coming up to his thigh. Sideways here, we'll put him right over here. Comes up to about the midships. I really wish I had some other ships to compare it to. At the moment I don't, so we're gonna leave that one as it is. That's a small comparison compared to what I normally do. But I do really love this ship. I highly recommend trying this one out. It was only $40 for what it is. I think that's a really good deal. I think you can get them for cheaper elsewhere if you look. I just happened to get it from Hobby Link Japan before it went on sale. And of course, I was a little upset after I found out that it had gone on sale after I bought it. but it is a really, really cool ship, and I am not bothered by that too much. It's one of those things. In any case, definitely something to look into if there's a gap on your shelf that you want to fill out with something quite unique. It is, like I say, a traditional model, so if you haven't worked with cement before, it is going to be a little bit of a different experience, but it isn't that bad where, you'd cry about it. It's not one of those American made ones where you get the thin, ugly plastic. I think it's definitely worth the money and the time that you have to put into making it work. In fact, it is so good that I'm planning on either doing this one or the R9 Arrowhead for a contest that is upcoming or is ongoing. I've kind of slept on it for a little bit. I need to get into it again. So yeah, no, that's one of the things that I want to do with this one or that Arrowhead. I think you guys should leave it in the comments whether I should do this one or that R9 unit. But with all that said, I will say thank you guys for watching, because I don't know if anyone's going to actually want to get a ship like this, but I do highly recommend it. And so if that's not something that you're into, thank you for spending time with me and watching me gush over this cool little kit. So I'll see you guys next time, or you'll see me, but more than likely you'll see more of my stuff. Bye-bye.